just raced in one of the biggest leagues in all of Italy. We got all kinds of top tier PSGL talent in here. F2, F3, F4 drivers alike. And we're gonna find out today just how well I can stack up against those guys without any practice at all.
Safe to say, going into quali, I didn't have any expectations, but the track is very wet. And this is good news because I absolutely adore wet driving. And in my opinion, wet driving is where a great driver can make a difference from a good driver. And I just love changing conditions where you have to set up a two-way communication with the car, asking something from it, see if it reacts, and also reading what the car is trying to tell you. It's quite poetic actually, but we went so wide through the double left, and as we finished the lap, it doesn't look clean, but still, it was good enough for P2 provisionally, right behind Brando from ET8. And since I brought some extra fuel, I'm gonna spend a lap to recharge my ERS, wait for my rear tires to cool down, and then go for another push lap. And I know there's a buttload of time in this corner, but we go wide again. Somehow allergic to the apex, but as you can see it in the delta, the track is improving rapidly. The dry line is forming, or maybe the rain is just getting lighter and lighter. Either way, into the last two corners, 4 tenths up, and out of the final corner, can we gain more? It is now 5 tenths, a little wiggle on the exit. It's so tricky to drive in these conditions, but it's still only P4. We don't improve. This is where I think, more grip? How about we go for a little lower wings? And the difference was night and day. You gained so much on the straights, and it appears we also managed to hit this apex, and that's gonna gain us another huge amount of time, though we could do better with the apex from that corner. But still, coming across the line, it is going to be an 8 tenths improvement, perhaps even more. And that is going to be provisional pole. And I thought to myself, holy, low wings. Let's keep going. But sometimes when you get too greedy, it doesn't exactly pay off. It's a little too low for wet conditions. Though we were gaining on the straights, just not enough to offset the time we lose in the corners. Still, starting P6 at Austria is not the end of the world. We can actually do something here. Because of the triple DRS zone, you can win basically from any position on track at Austria. As long as we can keep our nose clean, anything can happen here. And going into turn 1, there's already contact up ahead. The Williams is off track and he rejoins onto the track. What the hell was that? Two cars have come together and we already move up to P3 now, because going into the braking zone, I'm gonna leave some room on the inside, but around the outside there's more momentum, better traction, and we have better straight line speed and gonna allow us to move into P3 already. And I knew these moves were critical because I didn't want to lose sight of these two in front. If left unchecked, these two would probably fly away into the distance, and we have to do so while also nursing our tires ever so slightly, and we're already down to 50% on our battery reserve. We have to be careful because if we run out, we're gonna be defenseless versus the car behind, and worse, we might just fall out of the DRS at Austria. But if that were really to happen, then it would have to be a serious skill issue with, like I said, the triple DRS zones around Austria. And I was more than happy to just stay in the train, let these two exchange DRS while I just stay behind and manage. Because you have to ask yourself, would it be worth it to use tires and ERS right now to fight for a potential P2? No, but it is going to be important once the pit stop phase starts. Plus, it is so easy to get a track limit warning around Austria. You have to be careful. You could literally pick up 3 warnings in the space of 2 corners. Or the curbs could murder you. And I have to say, I quite enjoyed this race. There was a lot of respect on track. I kind of bumped into the back of him, a little rubbing into the braking zone, but no harm done. He wiggles, I wiggle back. It was basically our way of saying, hey, sorry if it was my fault. But now, this is where things are going to start kicking up. Into turn 3 on lap 7, Brando goes a little deep, and now this is gonna open the door for Oliver, and I see this opportunity as well because Brando is close enough for me to go for a move as well. DRS wide open, and now we're gonna go down the inside of Brando, And we're gonna manage to just inch ahead because the traction is a little better when you're not on the curb on the outside. And now we are in a very, very good position in this race. Oliver already sliding a little bit. Maybe he's just pushing a little too hard, going a little wide even. And this gets me thinking, oh, so maybe there's a slim chance where we can win. But however slim that chance may be, I'm gonna take it. Again, he goes wide here. I'm pretty sure he gets a warning. And if I can just keep it clean and stay with him, maybe he can get a 3-second penalty while we don't by the end of the race. And by the end of the next lap, by the end of lap 9, it was now time to head into the box. Things are going to heat up now. At this point, we had managed to drop the guys behind. There's only 3 people in this train now. And I don't want to speed go into the box and losing the rear a little bit because I clipped the grass on the outside. And we have to follow Oliver in here because if we don't, he's going to undercut us and we probably might just never see him again. This is it. This is it. We have to stay with him no matter what. And on the pit exit, be careful not to hit that wall on the outside, but we have to maximize the exit speed here. The gap is 8 tenths. Can we keep that up? That's the question. Into the second sector, I'm thinking, oh, there's a little kick in front. He's going to slow Oliver down so I can recharge my battery a little bit. No, Oliver goes straight on the attack. Really well judged by him down the inside. But now we're stuck getting the dirty air from the kick through this second sector. And now the gap is 1.3 seconds on the exit of this corner. And Lord knows how much he's going to gain on us out of those 2 final corners on the track. It's now or never. We have to push. We have to stay within that 1 second window if we want any chance of being able to fight for the win in this race. But coming around turn 1 again, Oliver gets a 3-second penalty. Every time we gain a little bit back on the straight, he would gain it back through the corners. He can just carry so much more speed than I do. But we still have to try. We have to minimize the damage. The question is, can we stay within that 3-second window? It's not going to be easy, but we're going to try. Plus, we got our buddy Brando behind with whom we can work together. And I give him a little wiggle to let him know, hey, we got to work together here if we want to catch him. And we're pushing so hard. And it's not as easy as it used to be. This is not like an F124 where the guy sitting behind gets to recharge their battery for free and free pace. No, the dirty air this year is so punishing, but we have to try. But still, the gap is only 1.8 seconds. This means we haven't lost that much time compared to Oliver, but we don't really know whether he was pushing hard or whether he was just managing the tires, pushing just enough to stay outside of that 1 second window, but not going around slow enough as to allow us to catch back up to him. And again, exchanging DRS with Brando. Unfortunately, in the process, we picked up a 3-second penalty as well ourselves, and now we're gonna have to win this one on track. There are no cheap tactics, but unfortunately, our makeshift teammate Brando has just left the session. And now it's up to me to finish the job. And on lap 22, it's now well over 2/3 into the race. And I'm thinking, the gap is only 1.6 seconds. Why don't we just undercut Oliver, go for the pit stop right now? But we have to do so that he doesn't expect it, moving at the very last second to go into the pits. And now we're gonna bolt on our final fresh set of hards that will see us to the end. The outlap is going to be absolutely critical here. Coming out of the pits, we are behind one of the Ferraris in front of the Alpine critically, because if we had come out behind those guys, this would have made our life a lot harder. But now we can't afford to stay behind them, especially not through the second sector, where we need to make use of our fresh rubber to pull the gap and undercut Oliver. Because remember, the hards are not that much faster on the outlap because they're still a little cold coming out of the pits. But we make the move into turn 4, and now we only have a few corners left to make up as much time as possible. Can we do it? Oliver is entering the pits as we speak, and we have to push here. There's no time for caution. Any mistake we make could mean us not getting back within that 1 second window. This is it, boys. This is it. Out of the final 2 corners, you can't really see it through the screen, but the fresh rubber feels absolutely amazing. We get a good exit out of the final corner using our battery again on the main straight down to below 10%. There he is. I see his car coming out of the pits into turn 1, braking after the 100-meter board, tried to not invalidate on the inner sausage curb, and now we are within 8 tenths of Oliver. This means our plan has worked to perfection, but it's not over yet. into turn 3. We have to stay within that 1 second window. Remember, he probably still has a full battery while we are running on fumes right now. But critically, we have managed to get that DRS, and it's going to allow us to save just a tiny bit ahead of turn 4. But it is not over, let me tell you. Unless there's a safety car. Well, a virtual safety car nonetheless. The timing could not have been better. It's going to allow us to recharge some of that crucial battery, and we have managed to do so up to 70%. But as the virtual safety car comes in, here we go again. The gap is close to 7/10 out of the final corner. We get DRS on the main straight. We are safe for now, and I'm trying to hold on for dear life here. Every corner, Oliver is just gaining a 10th or a 10th and a half on me. I have to study the way the top drivers get back on throttle. I just feel like they got such a way to do it. It's quite impressive, actually. And this goes to show I still have so much to learn in order to improve my craft. And going into the third sector, these two final corners, the gap is 9/10, almost a second. It is now over a second, and I think we've just barely not get DRS. But somehow, we have more straight line speed than Oliver does, and right into the braking zone of turn 1, we managed to get back within that 1 second window. Holy shit. We are safe for another lap. But there's still 10 laps to go. And how long can we hold on? Because every time we go through these fast left-handers, Oliver's gonna come out well in the lead, almost outside of that 1 second window. But our straight line speed is going to allow us just barely to stay within that 1 second window. This is absolutely mad. But right there, what has happened? Oliver has gone off track. And that is a 6 second penalty. Oh my god, could this be it? Change of plans. If we can just somehow manage to stay within that 3 second window, we could get this. Come on, I believe. And we've actually managed to build up a quite healthy amount of battery. And we're gonna go down the inside here into turn 3 just to see what kind of pace he has if we were to fight him on the final lap of the race. But he stayed behind just enough into the braking zone to get DRS on me, and he retains the position into turn 4. But I'm thinking, I still have more straight line speed than he does, so we can somehow manage to get our timing right. We should be able to get him on the final lap of the race. But at this point I thought, you know what, it's just us two in front. Why not just have some nice little battles with each other? We're still side by side going into turn 4. We have DRS, overtake on, and into turn 4, we're not gaining that much actually. This means we absolutely need DRS on this final lap if we want to make the move. And this is a beautiful bit of racing. We're still going side by side. He goes defensive, inside line with Jerson to the outside. It goes a little deep. It's gonna allow me to stick my nose down the inside, and we're giving each other a lot of room here. Nice battles. But at this point, I feel like he might just be toying with me. And as we're about to head into the final lap of the race, Oliver has a big snap in the final sector. This gives me hope. It's going to allow us to stick really, really close behind into the final 2 corners and get a good run out of the final corner. But it appears we have failed to account for a back marker. And now Oliver is going to get DRS from the back marker. Not just yet, but he's going to get DRS onto this next straight, the second DRS zone on track. And the back marker moves out of the way at the last second. And now this is getting complicated. I am using all of my overtake, but we're just not gaining into the braking zone. I can't send it from this far back. I'm gonna try to set up a good exit here. I tap him on the exit, and that's gonna kill all of our momentum. I went just a little bit too deep. Still, I'm gonna use overtake, but it's not enough. That back marker really, really changed everything. And unfortunately, we just couldn't really win it on track. But we're still within that 1 second window, remember? And coming out of the final corner, up to the finish line, it is going to be not a win on track, but after on-track penalties, it is going to be P1. And don't worry, that penalty totally didn't get removed by the stewards after the race, and I can officially say I've won against a PSGL F3 driver. I'm sure you can even see how sweaty I was despite there being no lights, but I thoroughly enjoyed that one. This is racing. If you enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to see more league races of this format in other leagues other than PSGL, let me know in the comments below. This is Formula Kai signing off, and I'll see you very soon.